Well, hello there YouTube, how's it going? Today I have a video review of No Man's Sky in 2021 for you. Now this isn't me saying, oh my god, this game is amazing, go to buy it! But it's more of me trying to promote the game that was once branded a complete and total disaster, but is now one of the best ongoing games out there, backed up by it winning the best ongoing game at the Game Awards in the back end of 2020. Let's get to it! Before we get stuck into this review, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons so you never have to miss any of my future No Man's Sky videos. So, as I mentioned, the launch of No Man's Sky back in 2016 was a complete disaster. The game was revealed a couple of years before and the hype train that came along with it was just incredible, like nothing I've ever seen before. And this game even won awards before its release, but sadly, along with all the hype comes a lot of pressure to deliver what the fans are expecting from a game such as this. And unfortunately for Hello Games, this did not happen. It wasn't even close to meeting the fans' expectations. There was an extensive list of features that were promised but were never delivered. Some of these were small, but some of these were major features, such as the inclusion of multiplayer. So that, along with fans speculating about what features could be in the game, led to Sony and Valve bending their rules on refunds as thousands of unhappy fans demanded their money back. Not to anyone's surprise, really. Normally, a disaster on this scale for a studio the size of Hello Games, this would spell the end of the studio. But no, what Hello Games did instead was nothing short of remarkable. They got their heads down, began patching bugs and providing resources to fans to voice their concerns and wishes about the game so they could improve the game and focus on what the fans actually wanted and expected to begin with. Since this disastrous launch in 2016, Hello Games have released many major updates for No Man's Sky, with each of them adding a new dimension to it. I must admit, I was fully on the hype train running up to the initial release of No Man's Sky, and then I was massively disappointed when I first got my hands on it. I barely played the game and put it down almost immediately and didn't return until the back end of 2019. And now, because of these major updates, I'm absolutely hooked. Pretty much everything that was originally promised in the game is now there, and many new features have also been released on top of those, such as the latest Pets or Companions update. The best thing about all these major improvements, you ask? Every single one of them was entirely free, and it looks like every single one to come out in the future will also be entirely free. Now, Hello Games could have taken the money and ran and gone on to different games, but no. They persisted with No Man's Sky, and in my opinion, have turned it into a masterpiece. Almost unheard of these days within the video game industry, and long may it continue where studios actually listen to their fans and improve the game based on what the fans want. I'm looking at you, EA. So 2020 saw Hello Games' biggest year yet, with no less than 6 major updates for No Man's Sky, including Origins, the next generation update, VR support, and of course, crossplay. And it certainly looks like they're not slowing down in 2021, as it's only February and they've already released their first major updates in the form of Companions. Companions is one thing I've always wanted in the game, so I'm so happy that it's finally arrived. If you want to know more, check out my video on the latest update, including everything you need to know about it. I'll leave a link for the video in the description. People who have never played No Man's Sky before, now come into the game. There's a story mode which effectively serves you as a guide to get you set up with the game, and a bunch of tutorials for stuff like base building, trading, farming, all that sort of stuff. So it's really easy to get stuck into the game, especially compared to what it was a few years ago when you were just sort of thrown in the deep end with not much of an idea what you needed to do to survive. Recent Origins update has added so much to the game that it's almost unrecognisable compared to its previous self. There are so many new planets, plants, creatures, geography, weather in the form of storms. Even just sit on a planet and enjoy the scenery and then take some amazing screenshots. You only have to look at Sean Murray's Twitter account to see how good looking this game has now become. Of course, if you're not really into that survival thing, No Man's Sky does have an option for just opening up a create/explore save, and you're able to go anywhere, do anything without having to worry about resources or the cost of ships. It truly is an amazing experience, and you can also create bases, both on land and underwater, go anywhere and do whatever the hell you want without having to worry about anything. So it caters for people who aren't in it for the survival element of the game. In 2021 in No Man's Sky, you have almost endless amounts of things you can do where you're going to find yourself spending hours and hours playing the game without realising it. And in my opinion, that means the game is great. For example, you can have all sorts of starship fights, you can take down pirates, you can build yourself amazing bases, both on land and underwater if you really want to create Atlantis again. You can take on missions with your friends from the Anomaly, regardless of what platform each of you play on. You can now, of course, adopt and breed creatures. And if you're into that horror side of games, you can explore nasty, derelict freighters in virtual reality. And that's meant to be pretty scary, but I haven't tried it myself. One thing that is for certain is Hello Games are still going full steam ahead with No Man's Sky. You can only expect the game to have more and more things to do as the months and years go on. And of course these updates will be entirely free. Now of course, with almost any game there are going to be a few things that aren't perfect or can be a bit of a pain. And as I guess players on PlayStation 4 or Xbox One may notice, like myself, that from time to time when you land on a planet, the graphics will take a while to render properly and you'll just be looking at like a smooth mess for a few seconds while you land on some planets or walk back to your base for the first time in a while. This is only a little niggle of course, and it soon sorts itself out. It's just a minor inconvenience. Apparently the issue is either almost non-existent or very, very not noticeable, I guess, on next-gen consoles and higher-end PCs. So it seems like this will be sorted by me getting a PlayStation 5, but as they're literally impossible to get your hands on at the moment, I'm happy just dealing with some slowly rendering graphics. Another thing that No Man's Sky can be is a little bit repetitive and a bit of a grind when you're just gathering resources and managing your inventory. But as I've said, unlike the initial release, there is so much more for you to do now to keep yourself busy and sink hours and hours and hours into this game. You want to make a huge base or a mini city? You can do that. Want to create a huge fleet of freighters and frigates and trade the hell out of the game? You can do that if you want to. You want to recreate Atlantis underwater? Yeah, you can go ahead and do that. You want to effectively become a space travelling Pokemon trainer? And you can now do that. You want space battles? You can also do that. My point is, yes, some elements of the game can become a little repetitive and can be a bit of a grind, but there is so much more that you can do now to keep yourself entertained for hours on end, so it's worth investing time into the game. Ultimately, if you're a gamer who wants to explore endless deep space, which looks absolutely fantastic, whilst also having the ability to have a few space dogfights, the ability to create your own unique bases and cities, build yourself a fleet of starship and freighters, and now of course adopt yourself some pets and bring them on your journey with you, then I would 100% recommend getting No Man's Sky. I've been absolutely hooked on this game for the best part of the last year, and I'm not even close to being bored yet. So I hope you all can get the same enjoyment out of the game as I do. And there you have it, my 2021 review of No Man's Sky. This game now is truly amazing, and Hello Games deserve all the credit they get from bringing it back from the dead effectively. It's now a huge success and it's just a good story in the gaming industry. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, why not hit those like and subscribe buttons so you never have to miss any of my No Man's Sky videos. Thanks for watching and catch you next time.